The Conquest of Harran, a story of faith, wisdom, and courage. This is the story written in the golden chapter of Islamic conquests, where victory came not through the sword alone, but through intellect, justice, and unshakable faith. The Conquest of Harran was not just the liberation of a city, but a triumph of belief and a symbol of unity for the entire Ummah. Harran, located between modern-day Turkey and Syria, was once a center of ancient civilizations, markets, and knowledge. The Byzantine Empire had fortified it as a military stronghold, filled with towering walls, grand pillars, and churches. When the Islamic Caliphate conquered Syria and Iraq, Harran remained the enemy's final stronghold. It was then that the banner of Islam began to move northward. The conquest of Harran was not merely territorial, it was spiritual. Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, R.A., instructed the governor of Damascus, Hazrat Khalid ibn Amir, R.A., establish peace in the land of Harran. But remember, Islam does not go for war, it goes for justice. Hazrat Khalid, R.A., appointed Hazrat Iyad ibn Gam, R.A., to lead the army toward Harran. Along with soldiers, he sent scholars, Quran reciters, and reformers, so that wherever the sword would stop, the voice of dua would continue. This army was a symbol of faith, discipline, and fairness. Under the banner of Islam, they marched from Syria toward Harran. Harran's fortresses were filled with Byzantine soldiers and local tribes. They had arrows, stones, and fire-throwing machines ready for battle. Their commander, Falarus, was cunning and arrogant. He mocked, "These desert Arabs cannot break our iron walls." But he did not know faith is stronger than any fortress. Muslim soldiers spent their nights in prayer and their days in preparation. Their strength was not in their bodies, but in their souls. Hazrat Iyad ibn Gam, R.A., surrounded the city from all sides. But he did not cut off the enemy's water or food supply, because Islam's wars were never wars of cruelty. This was a moral battle, a fight for truth, not destruction. For several days, arrows flew and brief skirmishes broke out. The Byzantines tried using flaming projectiles, but the Muslims shielded themselves and stood firm. Then Hazrat Iyad, R.A., called out, "We desire peace before war, for our goal is not land, but hearts." That was the moment when mercy overshadowed battle. Hazrat Iyad, R.A., devised a brilliant plan. At night, he sent a small group of soldiers near the fortress walls. They discovered a narrow water channel leading inside the city. Through this passage, a few soldiers quietly entered the fortress. At dawn, they opened the main gate from within. As the sun rose, cries of Allahu Akbar filled the air. The enemy awoke to find not the light of dawn, but the light of faith. The Muslims did not slaughter or destroy. They granted safety to all who surrendered. That morning, strategy became a servant of faith. When the enemy commander, Falarus, was brought before Hazrat Iyad, R.A., he trembled and said, "If you wish, you can destroy us." Iyad, R.A., replied calmly, "We do not kill, we show the justice of the faith that commands mercy." Then he recited verses from the Quran, words of compassion and divine wisdom. The soldiers and townspeople listened in silence, and many hearts softened. Falarus himself wept and declared, "This message is truly from our Creator." Thus, Harran embraced Islam without bloodshed. It was faith, not force, that won the day. Once Harran accepted Islam, Hazrat Iyad, R.A., proclaimed, "No one shall be wronged here. No unjust tax shall be imposed. Every citizen is equal before Allah." A mosque was built, a court established, and peace spread through the markets and streets. Schools for Quranic teaching opened, and stipends were set for the orphans and elderly. This was not merely administration, it was divine justice in action. Harran became not just a city, but a beacon of faith. Soon Harran flourished as a center of learning and culture. Scholars, jurists, and physicians began to settle there. The Muslim soldiers became protectors of the people. Those who were once enemies now called them brothers. Hazrat Iyad, R.A., would often say, "A conquest is not complete by the sword, but by good conduct." Justice filled the markets, worship filled the mosques, and the fragrance of brotherhood spread through the streets. This was the true image of Islam. When the news of Harran's peaceful conquest reached Caliph Umar, R.A., he raised his hands in gratitude and said, "All praise is due to Allah. The city that once knew oppression has become a lantern of peace." He ordered that the people of Harran be treated gently, and that those who accepted Islam should be embraced as equals. This was not rule, it was service. Umar, R.A., said, "This victory is not ours, it is Allah's mercy revealed in our hearts." The conquest of Harran was not a military triumph alone. It was a victory of faith, patience, and mercy. The swords were sheathed, but the Quran was raised high. The Muslims showed the world that the army of faith wins not through blood, but through morality. This was the conquest of Harran, where desert warriors became bearers of knowledge, where justice defeated oppression, and where history wrote forever. These were the people who conquered not lands, but hearts.